back in the 70s, and it was kind of a survival of the loudest. That's the way I perceived it as a young firefighter coming in. And I saw people that were moved into positions of supervision that you're like, well, that's because they were there, you know, pitching their wares, right? And it wasn't necessarily the best or right people. And I think that, you know, the basic philosophy is most people have the capacity to be leaders, but you have to want it. You have to want to be in charge. I think the population of leaders is like any other population. There's a bell curve. There's probably 20% of the people that you could do everything in the world to help them step into leadership, and they just don't have the capacity. And there's probably 20% of the people that have a lot of the tools given to them through other developmental processes or how they were raised or whatever. And they kind of step into it almost seamlessly. And there's 60% of the people in the middle that if you give them a process to learn the basics, to build confidence, being in front of people, making decisions, they'll be competent leaders. So I think the question, are leaders born or made, is the answer is yes. And so one of my favorite quotes, my dad was a football coach, so I saw leadership from the time I was little, right? But one of his favorite quotes was a Vince Lombardi quote, and it said, leaders are made like anything else, and they're made through hard work. And so that's my belief. I think one thing I would recommend any young folks coming up through this business is, you know, seek education and seek experience. A lot of young people find a place that they like, lock into it, and think they're going to advance there. And that's tough to do in place, especially if they find a nice place, right? Because everybody else wants to be in the nice place. So one of the things I did in my career was move around a lot, take detail assignments, you know, get a wide spectrum of experience in both duties and geographic areas. And I would recommend that. Education, I think, is important, and I think it's you know, it behooves leaders to start educating themselves early and stick with that through their whole career. Start reading. You know, in education, I'm talking about in a broad spectrum. You know, seek training every year. You know, if you can go to school, go to school. It took me 8 years, 3 states and 5 colleges to get a degree, but I got one. And so, you know, it was something that I worked at incrementally, and while I chased the fire business. And it was in cartography. It had nothing to do with fire, right? But I think it paid off in the long run to have that degree. But you know, seeking experience, seeking education, I think are really important. One other thing is find people that you respect and utilize them as mentors. Most folks won't mind that if you ask them for suggestions, ideas, assessment. They'll gladly give that to you.